Hi, this is Ralph Joy Grocery. My race number is UF15C083. This is my third video and my third experiment of networking lab. It is on IP addressing and subnetting. The first question is it is asking the number of needed subnets are 3, number of needed usable hosts should be 45, and number of the network address which is given to us is 200.175.14.0. we can get as the starting it is 200, so we can say that the address class is C, and if it is C, then the network address are 25, 250. The host address are 255, 255, 255, and so the host address are 255. That is 888 bits are taken by the first 8 bits are taken by network address, and the last 8 bit is left for host address. And for default it is 24, and as it is asking for 3 subnets, so we have to borrow 2 bits. So the 24 will become, as the custom subnet mask, it will become 26, and the total number of subnets which we can make is 4, but the required is 3 only. The total number of host address are 64. That is out of that only for first and last two. First and the last one is not usable, as the first one is the subnet address and the last one is the broadcast address. Number of borrowed bit is 2, as 3 is required. So borrow we can make 00, 01, 10 and 11. That are the four address we can make from 2 bits. So first network is 200.175.14.0. that is according to the subnet address which we are given to us. So its first valid address would be 200.175.14.1, and keeping the as you have borrowed 2 address, so keeping 00 out of that 2 address and making all 1, so we get 163, but that is broadcast address. So last valid host address will be 64, so 200.175.14.62 will be the last valid host address, and broadcast will be 200.175.14.63, and the next address will be the subnetwork address for second subnet, that will be 200.175.14.64, and then the first valid host address for the second subnet will be 200.75.14.65. now keeping out of these two bit, making them as 01 and making all the rest as 1, all the rest 8 bits as 1, it will be 200.175.14.127, and for last valid address, that is usable address, will be 200.175.14.126. so now the broadcast address will be 127. so the next address after the broadcast address will be 200.175.14.128. that will be the subnet address for third subnet. Then the valid address for the third subnet will be 200.175.14.128, and last valid host address will be 200.175.14.198. as we can keep the these 2 bits as 10, and keeping the rest as 111, rest 8 bits as 1, so we'll get 191, and the network just previous that will be the last valid host address for the third subnet, that will be 200.175.14.190, and the broadcast address that is not usable, it is broadcast address, that will be 200.175.14.191. Then another question that will is asking about they require 10 subnets, and the network address given to us is 172.59.0.0. Now from 172 we can say that the address class will be B, and if the address class is B, so the network address will be 255.255, and rest are the host address 00. And for default subnet mask is 16, but customized subnet mask will be as it is 10, so 4 bits are required for 10 subnets. For if it had been 8, then 3 bits will be required. Now it is 10, so 4 bits are required. So if 4 bits are required, so 16 plus 4, that will be 20. So custom subnet mask is equals to 20, and total number of subnets are 16. So now the total number of host address we can determine by 2 to the power 12, that is as they have 32 bits, so 32 minus 20, that is 12, so 2 to the power 12. And number of usable address will be 2 to the power 12 minus 2. The minus 2 are for the first subnet address, and the that is the subnet address and broadcast address that is not usable, already is given. And the number of borrowed bit will be 4, as number of borrowed will be 4 because 10 subnets are required, networks are required to be made. Now for first subnet, the address will be 172.59.0.0. Now first valid host address will be 172.59.0.1. Now as we see, before we see the last valid address, we have to see the broadcast address. So what we are doing is keeping the first as 00 and keeping all the rest 8 as 1. Sorry, first 4 as 00, first 4 host address as 00, and rest host bits as 111, each as 1. So it will give as 172.59.15.255. that is the broadcast, and last usable or valid host address will be 175.59.15.254. Now for second host address will be 172.59.16.0, and the first valid address will be likewise 175.59.16.1, and like that it will be like 172.59.153.255. like that I've calculated in a similar way. Now we go for the third question, that is number of needed usable host address, that are 50 is required now. So, and the network address given to me is 172.59.0.0. so if the network address is starting from 172, that will come under class B, as we have discussed in the previous question also. The default subnet mask will be 255.255.0.0. This 255 and this 255 stand for the network bits, and the rest 2 stand for a host address. So, and the default subnet mask as it is in B class, it stands for 16. It is 16, and for 15 needed usable host address, we require 6 bits. So custom subnet mask will be 16 plus 6, that is 22. So the remaining will be 32 minus, that is 10. So total number of subnet masks is 2 bar 6, and total number of host address will be 2 bar 10, as 32 minus 22 will be 10. So total number of host address will be 10, 2 bar 10, and then total number of usable host address will be 2 bar 10 minus 2, that is the first network address and the broadcast address. That will not be calculated inside it. So usable address will be 2 bar 10 minus 2, and borrowed bits are 6, as 50 is there. 50 usable host address is required. First bit we have calculated as 172.59.0.0, and first valid address will be 172.59.0.1. Now keeping the these borrowed bits as 0 and rest other as 1, so it will give 172.59.0.63 and 172.59.0.62. This 62 will be the last valid host address. Now after the next broadcast address will be the network address of subnet 2, that will be 172.59.0.64, and for first valid address add 1 in that, so that will be 172.59.0.65. The last valid host address will be, before that we will see the broadcast address, that will be 172.59.0.127. So 127 previous will be the last valid host address, like 172.59.0.126. Likewise, the last subnet mask, that is the 50th, will be the 50th subnet will be 172.59.255.192, and the first subnet, that is first valid host address or first usable host address, will be 172.59.255.193, and the broadcast it will be 172.59.255.255, and that previous to that will be the last usable or last valid host address, that will be 172.59.255.254. Now another question, it is showing 4 networks, that is, one is marketing, research, management, and the link between the router. So what we are doing is, the IP address given is 192.34.20.0. so management, if you consider as the first network, so 196.34.20.0 is the first, and the first valid or the first usable host address will be 196.34.20.1, and the last valid host address will be, before that we calculate the broadcast address, will be 196.34.20.31, and the last valid host address will be 30. So here the subnet mask is as it should be 24, but we have borrowing 2, it is, so customized subnet mask will be 26 here. Next, after this management, we are taking as marketing, the second network, so it is continuing, the broadcast address is continuing after this market address. The broadcast address of management, so next to that will be the subnet address of marketing, that is 192.34.20.32. then first valid will be 192.34.20.33, and the broadcast address will be 196.34.20.63, and add subtract 1 from that will be the last valid host address or last usable host address. The next we are taking is 192.34.20.64 of subnet mask, customized subnet mask as 26, and the first valid host address will be 196.34.20.65, and then broadcast host address will be 192.34.20.127. so subtract 1 from that, will be the last usable host address, that is 192.34.20.126. now the link between the routers is, we are taking as 196, that is coming after this broadcast address, so the fourth network will be 196.34.20.128, then add 126.34.20.129, and the broadcast it will be 196.34.20.31, and the usable address, last valid host address, will be 196.20.130. Hope you understood anything from my video. Thank you for watching the video.